Here's Johnny.
Hi, I'm Austin. I'm a commission painter here at Stratagem Hobbies, and today I'm going to go over everyone's biggest miniature painting fear with you. We're going to do 3 levels of faces, from tabletop to display quality, and show you just how easy it can be. Tabletop ready faces only require 2 paints, Gilliman Flesh contrast paint from Citadel, and 2 thin coats Dwarven Skin, which is the same as Citadel's Cadian Flesh. Our first step is to apply a base coat of Dwarven Skin to the entire face. Thin your paint down to layer consistency on the palette and apply thin coats until full opacity is achieved. You will typically only have about 15 to 20 seconds to apply each layer before you'll need to allow the paint to dry in order to prevent tearing of the previous layer, which will create unwanted texture. Next, we'll use Gilliman Flesh contrast paint in order to shade the crevices of the face and generally warm up the base coat of Dwarven Flesh. This will add depth quickly and effectively. Make sure to wick away any excessive pooling of the contrast paint with a clean, damp brush to prevent those pesky tide marks. Finally, we'll add some selective highlights in order to add interest. Using Dwarven Flesh, I highlight all of the most raised areas of the face, specifically the forehead, eyebrows, cheekbones, nose, mouth, and chin. With just a little more effort, we can improve the face by darkening the eye sockets and painting the model's teeth. For the eyes, I use 2 thin coats Barbarian Brawn and a wash of Gilliman Flesh. Shading the eyes like this provides extra realism to the face without making us actually paint the eyes. For the teeth, any ivory will do, but here I'm using 2 thin coats Ivory Tusk. Teeth are never truly white, and making them pure white will actually make the face look unnatural. Here is our completed face, and while it may be a little short on detail up close, it should look very nice from arm's length on the tabletop. For a tabletop plus level face, we'll begin by basing it in 2 thin coats Barbarian Brawn. Take your time and apply as many coats as needed to ensure a smooth base coat. Remember that 2 thin coats is a good rule of thumb and not a hard limit. Next, do an all-over wash of Reichland Flesh Shade to bring some warmth back to the skin and to shade the recesses. Begin highlighting with Dwarven Flesh. This time, we'll use our brush control skills to ensure that the wrinkles stay the base coat except in the forehead. Be sure to leave a small gap between the highlight and the hair, then work your way down the face. Get most of the top of the nose, leaving a space of base tone between it and each nostril. Get most of the cheekbones, and then a portion of the lower cheeks and the folds of skin around the mouth. Finally, apply a small amount to the upper and lower lips and the chin. Using Elven Skin, we'll do a second highlight. This time, we'll only be painting within the highlights of Dwarven Skin, covering roughly 30% of the uppermost portions. To paint the eyes, grab your finest tip brush and 2 thin coats ivory tusk. I like to turn the model sideways and pull the paintbrush across the eyes towards myself. Next, pick a very dark color. Here I'm using Vallejo Dark Sea Blue and dot the iris into the eye. There should be more color than white, and the iris shouldn't be round since the top and bottom of the circle are covered by your eyelids. As you can see, these extra steps really help to define the features of the face, and you can achieve some nice results with a simple color recipe and some extra time. For our display quality face, we won't be using any washes, so we'll need to start with a much darker tone to leave in the recesses. For that, I'll base the model in Pro Acryl Dark Flesh. Next, I'll do an all-over highlight of Pro Acryl Shadow Flesh, leaving the dark flesh only in the deepest recesses. Here, I'm working on demonstrating the color zones of the face. I start mixing in some sunny skin tone from Vallejo to show the yellow areas, like the forehead, bridge of the nose, and around the mouth. Next, I use Pro Acryl Tan Flesh and Dark Magenta washes to show the red of the cheeks, nostrils, and lips. Finally, Vallejo Dark Sea Blue as 5 o'clock shadow to show the lower cheeks and chin as the blue zone. Overall, these zones are sort of broken into thirds, with some outliers like blue under the eyes and yellow around the mouth. I normally wouldn't take it this far as it looks very clownish, but I wanted you all to be able to see how these undertones lend realism to the face. Next, I begin the work of blending all of the clown tones into the face, using various mixes between the flesh tones and the color tints, depending on which area of the face I'm blending and highlighting. This level of painting basically requires you to mix your own tones in order to properly represent the nuances of human skin. You'll also see me glaze some shadow flesh back into the recesses where I was sloppy and got too much highlight in them, or where I felt they lacked warmth in the blue zones of the face. Without this tinge of warmth, the blue zones tend to look dead, which is the opposite of what we want our Space Marines to be. For the eyes, I did the exact same process as our level 2 face, but I was completely unconcerned with time or mistakes. I adjusted and repainted as necessary, using thin coats to ensure I didn't create texture. Really, the biggest difference between this and the second face is that the second one took me 10 minutes and this one took 30. I hope my explanation wasn't too sparse for you, but what you need to do in order to paint a face of this level is practice. With time, your brush control and paint blending will become intuitive and natural, and this is what I want to encourage. Painting is a joy, and no matter what your final results, you've improved just by doing it. Thank you all for watching this short demonstration. I hope it has inspired you to hit the painting desk and start working on all those primed faces you've yet to get done. No matter what level you decide to paint to, remember, this is our hobby, and it's supposed to be fun, so try to enjoy the process and the results will come. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below and I'll try to answer as many as possible. Thanks again.